Economic and Social Council. The name itself suggests that they work in the field of economy and the social development. And there are 54 members in this organization. They work for the welfare, or they controls this organization, or you can say the important part of the United Nations. Sorry. The main objective of this organization is to coordinate the economic and social policies of the United Nations. So this is the important objective of the Social and Economic Council. The council has 54 members. They are selected by the General Assembly. Each member has a tenure of 3 years. What a tenure? Period. Every member of every member of the Economic and Social Council, they have the tenure of 3 years, and all these members are elected at the General Assembly. Each member has a tenure of 3 years, and each year 1/3 of the members are newly chosen. Decisions are taken by majority vote. So they are elected by the voting. Functions. What are the functions of Economic and Social Council? Initiate means to introduce, to begin the discussions at the global level on issues like poverty, unemployment, economic and social inequality, and suggest policies to tackle the problems. What to tackle? Tackle means to handle the problems. Discuss issues like women questions, empowerment of women, human rights, fundamental freedoms, global trade, health related issues, etc., and to make decisions. These are the issues that have been carried out by the Economic and Social Council at the global level. To make effort to establish social and educational cooperation at the international level. Coordinate the functioning of the different organizations working in association with the United Nations. So they work in associations with the United Nations. What association? They with the coordination of United Nations. So this group or this organization plays a very important role for the welfare of the society or the economic functions. Secretariat. Secretariat, you can say a office that works or that handles the meetings, that handles the discussions, and they plan accordingly. And Secretary General is the head of the Secretariat. Okay. The Secretariat has the responsibility of carrying out the administrative tasks. What are administrative? Administrative means management, task, responsibility, work of the United Nations. The chief of the Secretariat is the Secretary General. He is selected by the General Assembly and the Security Council. His tenure is of the 5 year. So Secretary General is elected by the Security Council in discussion with the General Assembly, and the tenure for the Secretary General is the 5 year. Okay, for a time period of 5 years they are elected, and they took the responsibility of the Secretariat, and Secretary handles all the administrative work. What are the functions? To call international conferences when required, at the time of emergencies or for any global issues. They call the meetings, they arrange the conferences on global problems like climate change, human rights, disarmament. To organize the meetings of the General Assembly and Security Council. They also organize the meeting of General Assembly and Security Council. To compile information. What is compile? Compile means to gather, to collect the information, and they give the important informations to the media. So they are the spokesperson. They are the responsible to provide the informative or the selective details to the media, to supply information to the media. Next is International Court of Justice. Why this court has been established with the help of United Nations? We are talking about the development. We are talking about the peace. So why this court is required? Imagine if you have any issue within our nation, it can be resolved by the different level of court. We have a district court, we have a session court, we have a high court, supreme court, right? But imagine when we have any issue with any other country like China or Japan or any nation. So to whom we will approach? We will approach Supreme Court? No. At that time we will approach the International Court of Justice, and for that they have the 15 judges. They took decision on the basis of the case or the basis of the issue. For example, recently India approached International Court of Justice for the release of Kulbhushan Jadhav. You may have heard the name of Kulbhushan Jadhav. He is an Indian, right? But he was captured at Pakistan, being that he is a spy. But as India is approaching to the International Court of Justice to get the justice for the Kulbhushan Jadhav. Okay, International Court of Justice means the judicial branch. Like in our democracy, we have legislative, executive, and judiciary. Here, legislative part played by the General Assembly, executive part played by the Security Council, and judicial part played by the International Court of Justice. International Court of Justice means the judicial branch of the United Nations. The International Court of Justice is located at The Hague. It's in the Netherlands. There are 15 judges in the International Court of Justice. They are chosen by the General Assembly and the Security Council. Every judge has a tenure of 9 years. Okay, so International Court of Justice located at Hague. It's in Netherlands, and there are 15 judges and they have the tenure of 9 years. What are the functions? To settle the disputes between two or more member nations of the United Nations. So those who are the member of United Nations, and today all are the member of United Nations. So any disputes, any problem between them, that can be solved with the help of International Court of Justice, right? And every nation should get the justice. To interpret international law authentically. Authentically means genuinely, clearly. Interpret means to explain them, to display them, that every nation should follow it. To advise the various organs or subsidiaries body of the United Nations about legal issues. So what are the legal issues or legal problems that needs to be explained by all the member nations or the organs of the United Nations with the help of International Court of Justice. Okay. Last, we have Trusteeship Council. Remember, I told you that Trusteeship Council has been stopped and it's no longer working, because the aim of the Trusteeship Council was to give the freedom to all the trust territories. What are trust territories? Those who are under the control of colonies or colonism, right? Like India, we are under the British colonism, right? But we got independence in 1947, but there are so many territories though who didn't got independence, or after the independence they are not capable to bring their development. So Trusteeship Council made up of the some important nations, or you can say developed nations, those who will help the nations to grow or to make their own democracy or make their own system so that they work properly. Okay, so once all the nation got independence and all the nation got settled, so Trusteeship Council has been stopped. The Trusteeship Council. After the Second World War, the territories that were underdeveloped were placed under the responsibility of the developed nations. Okay, so those who are a developed nation, they took the responsibility of the different territories to make them develop or to bring the important changes. The latter were supposed to help bring about the development of the trust territories, and once they attain independence from their colonies, help establish democracy. Okay, the work of the Trusteeship Council is over as there are no trust territories left, and once all the trust territories got independence, so work of the Trusteeship Council has been stopped. Okay, the last territory which was got help from the Trusteeship Council was the Palau Island. It's in Philippines. The work of the Trusteeship Council ended when Palau got independence on 1st November 1994. Palau is an island in the Pacific Ocean, 500 meters east of the Philippines. Understood the important functions of the organs of United Nations. Now, Millennium Development Goal. As we all know, when we entered in the year 2000, we began in the new millennium, right? Like every year, in January we enter a new year, we enter a new sometime a decade or century. So in the way, when we enter into new millennium in 2000, so United Nations set a certain goals for the development. What are these goals? The United Nations member nation came together in 2000 and decided upon the development goals for the new millennium. Some of the important goals are as follows. What are the important goals? First, to eliminate poverty and hunger. What do you eliminate? Remove. Every nation should be well developed. At least the people shouldn't die for hunger, right? To eliminate poverty and hunger. To make the facilities of primary education available. Every country should get the facility of primary education. To bring about women empowerment. It is very much important to bring change in the life of women, to give them support, to give them facilities so that they become grower, bigger. To bring about women's empowerment, to reduce infant mortality rate. What do you mean infant? Infant means newly born babies. To reduce the infant mortality rate, mortality means the death rate. As we know, many countries doesn't have the proper health facilities. So it should be provided with the proper health facility that the infant or the children's or the woman should get a proper benefit of it. To take special care of the health of pregnant women. It is very much important. It is a responsibility of the society to take care of the proper health of the pregnant woman. To fight disease, as we know there are so many pandemic or so many disease all over the world, so it's a responsibility that every nation should be free from the diseases like AIDS, malaria, chikungunya, COVID, polio, measles. To protect the environment and increase the cooperation between developed and developing countries. So there should be a certain kind of cooperation, a friendly environment between the developing and developed nation, so that developed nations should bring the change or development in the underdeveloping or developing countries. Okay. A time period has been decided to achieve this goal. A time period has been given that we will fulfill the demands or we will achieve this goal. India has made considerable progress, and when we talk about the participation of India, India being an important member of United Nations always work with the help of UNESCO or any other affiliated organs to bring a change in the world or in our own nation. India has made considerable progress in the direction of achieving the Millennium Development Goal with the help of UNICEF and UNESCO. And as we all know the meaning or the importance of the UNICEF and UNESCO. United Nations and peace and the preservation of peace. How United Nations tries to functions to preserve the peace. As we know, they have a different bodies, right? If any nation doesn't follow the rules and regulation of the United Nations, so what is the first step? They will have a talk with them. If the discussions happen peacefully, it's fine. If not, then they will impose economic sanctions. If after the economic sanction it won't resolve, then they will take the military action on that country. The objective, the aim of the United Nations is to settle international conflict peacefully. The United Nations Charter lays down the ways and means to be employed to achieve this goal. It includes appointing an intermediary. What appointing intermediary means? Involvement of the third person. They are called the arbitrator. For example, if two person or two countries fight with each other, so the third person's or third country's responsibility to come between them and to have a negotiate or have a discussion between them to solve the issue. That is called the intermediary involvement, and the role played by such country or people is called the arbitrator. Okay. It includes appointing an intermediary acceptable to the nations involved in the conflicts, use the legal procedure. As we know, they have the International Court of Justice, so they can go in the legal way also. Appointment an arbitrator to solve the dispute, and if needed to take recourse means action, to take action by military means and ensure that conflict will not occur again, and they will make sure that conflict will not occur again. In modern times, human security has been threatened by In modern times, human security has been threatened by the terrorism, as we all know, racism and religious conflict. As a result, the function of securing peace of the United Nations has acquired a lot of importance. Okay, the United Nations make effort to ensure that United Nations responsibility to make effort to ensure that there should be a global peace and there should be disputes to solve in a proper manner. The United Nations make effort to ensure that Violence does not erupt in stiff-torn areas. What do you know? Stiff-torn areas, the places where the situation is not stable, unsuitable condition. It's called the stiff-torn areas. For example, any situation happens due to bomb blast or any flood or any terrorist attack. That situation won't be suitable. That's called be a stiff-torn areas. Is resorted as soon as possible by, for example, starting schools, creating awareness among the people about human rights, make social, economic, political facilities available, conduct elections, etc. So these are the steps that are taken by the United Nations to make a suitable condition of a proper environment to for a healthy life for the people of that surrounding. Nations peacekeeping. United Nations have a different, you can say, organ of affiliated organs. They work for the development of peace. 24/7 they are ready to bring the situation into normal, and whenever they require they reach there. For example, if you know, in 2015 there was a huge earthquake happened in Nepal. At that time also different nations helped them, even United Nations also helped them. At the time of huge flood or any terrorist attack, all the nations supports each other, but at the time United Nations also sends their own peacekeeping force, and India plays a very important role in it. The peacekeeping activity of the United Nations involves creating appropriate circumstances. What is circumstances? Circumstances means situations favorable for bringing about permanent peace in stiff-torn area. So they always try to bring a favorable situation, a favorable condition in the stiff-torn areas. In the situation there the conditions is not normal, so they try every step to bring the normalcy in that area. The peacekeeping force help this area to progress towards peace in conflict-ridden areas where the conflict issues or any kind of attacks. Security is provided, and at the same time help is extended for establishing peace. So they always try to help to bring the peace. The United Nations task up peacekeeping as one of the tasks for safeguarding and fostering peace in the world. Following things are other actions that United Nations make take supplementary to peacekeeping activities. Okay, like prevention of conflict and mediation. What do you mean prevention of conflict mediation? So they will always try to prevent the conflict, any fight, and they try to be mediate or try to involve to solve the issue. Actually establish peace. They are always trying to bring the peace in the countries or any territories. Implement the measures of protecting peace. They always try to implement the steps to bring the peace and peace building. They always have a different department or different procedures that they can try to bring the peace on every situation. United Nations and India. What kind of important role India plays with the help of United Nations, and what contribution India has made in United Nations? India had participated in the different conferences that were held before the establishment of United Nations. Even when we didn't got complete independence, even United Nations didn't formed, we participated in the important conferences, we participated in the formation, even we had discussed or we had raised the issues at the United Nations level for the welfare of our own country or for the welfare of other nations also. The establishment of United Nations, India had participated in bringing issues like decolonization. Yes, being a country, we didn't supported the colonization. We always supported the equality in the nation. Even if you remember, we didn't support the alignment. India, being a responsible nation, started the movement for the non-alignment. India has participated in bringing issues like decolonization, disarmament, racial segregation. We also tried to end the differences between the races, the racial segregation differences on the United Nations platform. In 1946, India being the first country to raise the voice against racism. In 1946, India was the first country to raise the question of racism in the United Nations. India has always led the discussions about the problems of undeveloped and developing countries. India had always sent her troops. We have also sent our teams for the United Nations peacekeeping force that supports the different nations. Even we are the founder member. India has always sent the troops to participate in the United Nations peacekeeping force. Not just that, India has sent in all-women peacekeeping force as well. It is evident. What is evident? Proved. It is proved from the foregoing analysis. Analysis means research or study. If you check, India always played a very important role. So it is evident, it is proved from the foregoing analysis that India makes serious effort to solve international conflicts by peaceful means. So that kind of important role played by the United Nations all over the world for the development of peace and the security. Understood? Clear? Quite interesting chapter. We came more about this organization. Yes, it is very important organization. You had seen this organization in so many news channels or in many movies also, right? Let's come to the exercise. The first blank. This country is not a permanent member of United Nations Security Council. As we all know, 5 countries are the permanent member. So out of these options, Germany is not the permanent member. Correct? This international organization conducts workshop in India on remedial measures, on the suggestions to tackle the problem of malnutrition among children. So out of that, we have no answer. It's UNICEF. Correct? So next is the number of members of United Nations. Quite easy. We all know that it's 193. Then we have true or false. We need to justify whether the statement true or false on the basis of its work. The first, the United Nations General Assembly is a platform to discuss global problems. Yes, it's true, because all the members are all the countries are the member of United Nations, and all the members of the United Nations are the member of General Assembly. So for any discussion, for any kind of voting, they all are participated in the General Assembly. So it's a global platform for everyone for discuss their issues or to give the suggestions or moreover the votings. The status of all the member nations of the United Nations not equal. It's false. The status of all the nations are equal at United Nations, as we already discussed on the page number 78. Remember, there is no discrimination. A resolution means you can say a decision or suggestion can be passed even if the China exercise its veto power. No, it's false statement. Every permanent member have to give their approval, and if they are using the veto power, it means it's negative voting. India has played a major role in the work of United Nations. Yes, it's true. We just now read it. India always played a very important role in the functions of United Nations. Understood? Clear? Next is explain the following concept: veto and UNICEF. We all know what is veto. Veto is a negative power, negative voting that can be implemented by the permanent members. And next is UNICEF. We had a complete paragraph of UNICEF on the page number 81. Correct? Next, write the reasons for the establishment of United Nations. Why the United Nations has been established? As we know, after the situation or the First World War, there was a League of Nations that didn't work properly. So after the Second World War, it was the necessity to make an international organization, and United Nations has been formed. What is the role of peacekeeping force in United Nations? Important role of the peacekeeping force is to bring peace in the strife-torn areas. They always try to bring normalcy to that country or the territory by making them aware or creating or providing them the facilities. Right? Write the objectives of the United Nations. So we have a list of objectives of the United Nations on the page number 77. Right? The 3 important objectives. Remember? Next, we have to complete the table. We need to mention the members and the function. First, United Nations General Assembly. How many members? Complete 193. What are its function? They follow the elections, annual budget, meeting, discussion. Second, we have United Nations Security Council. How many members? 15. 5 permanent and 10 non-permanent member. So they took the important discussions, right? Gave the suggestions. Even they put the economic sanctions, and the policies are made at the Security Council level. International Court of Justice. We have 15 judges. They took decision and they to solve the disputes at the international level, right? Economic and Social Council. 54 members. What is the responsibility? To remove poverty, to remove unemployment, and to give support for the education or to make the countries economically well. So these are the important functions, right? Then we have a timeline. We have a chronology. What happened in 1941? Atlantic Treaty between England and America. Correct? At 1941, the first conference arranged for the United Nations. 1945, United Nations has been established. Okay? Now we have a flow chart where we need to give the headquarters or the information about the branches. So where is the headquarters of United Nations? It's at New York. Where is the headquarters of United Nations? It's at New York. And what are the major organs? There are 6 major organs: General Assembly, Security Council, Economic and Social Council, International Court of Justice, Secretariat, and the trusteeship council. And as you know, trusteeship council has been stopped. What are the affiliated? There are multiple affiliated organizations, but here we have a list of ILO, we have FAO, we have WHO, we have WB, we have IMF, and we have UNICEF and UNESCO. Understood? Understood the United Nations, the important function of United Nations, what role it plays at the international level. So please go through the chapter, read the chapter twice, watch the video. Any doubt, any suggestions, please let me know. Okay? Thank you so much. Thank you for joining the topic.